Proposal for the dry days to be reduced, rejected by Sisodia in 2015, approved in 2021 without consultation with ministers. Why the flip-flop? The public accesses the 2021 show cause notice that warns on syndicate formation due to the excise policy. Well, licenses granted anyway.
चौबीस की लड़ाई मोदी बनाम केजरीवाल होगी, क्योंकि लोग पूछते थे मोदी बनाम हु.
No answers to the liquor scam allegations. Aam Aadmi Party makes it about 2024 instead. Says it will be Modi versus Kejriwal. CBI issues first summons in the liquor scam case. Asked to appear at the CBI headquarters. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The political face-off over Delhi excise policy is refusing to die down. After the CBI raids on Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia yesterday, the issue of liquor policy seems to be exploding further as new evidence comes to the fore and new charges are levelled. But even after back-to-back press conferences, Aam Aadmi Party refuses to come clear on the liquor excise policy and continues to digress, either towards Gujarat polls or towards Modi versus Kejriwal line, or towards claimed NYT article. Interestingly, the very vocal AAP president and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has gone quiet over the whole issue. Has he given up on Manish Sisodia, second Delhi minister to be under scanner for corruption? Or is it just a tactic? Stay away from the controversy till it dies down. Whatever be the reason, his silence is quite conspicuous on the whole issue. Will Kejriwal and AAP respond to the allegations? We debate after this short report.
Kejriwal's deputy and accused number one in the liquor scam held a press conference today after the 14-hour raid on Friday.
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में ये सारा विवाद खड़ा किया जा रहा है. मैं उसके बारे में कहना चाहता हूं कि वो इस देश की सबसे बेस्ट एक्साइज पॉलिसी है और उस पॉलिसी को हम पूरी ट्रांसपेरेंसी और पूरी ईमानदारी से लागू कर रहे थे और बहुत ईमानदारी से वो पॉलिसी तैयार की गई.
But in a rare occurrence, the Congress and the BJP stood united in questioning the party.
This issue of corruption in the AAP government is something we've been raising for a very long time. Unfortunately, because they are a popular government, we were not getting resonance either from people or from media. But that never stopped us from raising every time we found that there was very, very clear indications of massive corruption in almost a large number of cases.
Union Minister Anurag Thakur laid out this open challenge.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को खुली चुनौती देता हूं, अगर दम है तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी मीडिया के सामने आए, देश के सामने आए, 24 घंटों के अंदर जवाब दें.
The face-off is escalating.
ये आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार, ये रेवड़ी की सरकार भी है, बेवड़ी सरकार भी है.
बेवड़ों की पूरी फौज खड़ी करते हो और दिल्ली की सरकार को बदनाम करते हो. सारे भाजपा शासित राज्यों में दारू पिला पिला के 22%, 20%, 19% रेवेन्यू इकट्ठा कर रहे हो और बता रहे हो कि ये बेवड़ी है.
But all the AAP did in response was deflect identically in briefing after briefing.
मुद्दा है अरविंद केजरीवाल की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता. मुद्दा है दिल्ली जीते, पंजाब जीते, अब गुजरात कैसे पहुंच गए.
कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी के दुश्मन नंबर 1, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के टारगेट नंबर 1 अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं. और मुझे लगता है आने वाले समय में पूरे देश में जो लड़ाई है ये नरेंद्र मोदी बनाम अरविंद केजरीवाल होगी.
मैं आज आपके सामने कहना चाहता हूं कि 2024 का चुनाव आम आदमी पार्टी वर्सेस भारतीय जनता पार्टी होने जा रहा है. अब तक लोग पूछते थे कि मोदी वर्सेस हु. अब पूरे देश में माहौल बन रहा है कि मोदी जी नहीं चाहिए, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को एक मौका देना है. एक मौका अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को देना, अब ये बात पूरे देश से गूंजने लगी है।
Meanwhile, it appears Arvind Kejriwal has abandoned Sisodia and gone silent on the liquor scam, even as he speaks about visits to Gujarat, articles in New York Times, and Rajiv Gandhi's birthday. In fact, the entire opposition seems to be divided on the liquor scam, with Mehbooba Mufti hitting out at Vadra Congress. And now, Republic has accessed a vigilance report that spills the beans of the depth of the liquor scam. How the Lieutenant Governor was superseded, how dry days were arbitrarily reduced, and how liquor licenses made windfall gains. With the 37-page vigilance report out, the pressure on Kejriwal to break his silence is growing. Sources suggest 5 of the accused have already been summoned by the CBI today. The burning question is, can Arvind Kejriwal duck the mega allegations? Will Kejriwal explain why the liquor policy was revoked if it was truly the best? And will he respond to the BJP's 24-hour challenge? Let's debate.
Well, the question is, can Arvind Kejriwal duck the debate for long? Let's hit the ground running with our guests joining us from the BJP, Harish Khurana, spokesperson of the Delhi unit. Live from Delhi, Sujata Pandey, political analyst. Live from Mumbai, leans towards the BJP, PKD Nambiar, political analyst. Live from Delhi, again leans towards the BJP. On the other side, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Live from Mumbai, would defend the Aam Aadmi Party. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst. Live from Bengaluru, has been with the Aam Aadmi Party once, is going to defend Manish Sisodia. Tausif Ahmed Khan, advocate and political analyst. Live from Kolkata, leans towards the TMC. I would want to ask my first question to someone who can defend Manish Sisodia. Let Ravi Srivastava take that. You know, Ravi Srivastava, in his press conference earlier in the day, Manish Sisodia said that nobody understands this excise policy. Nobody has seen this excise policy. It is the world's best excise policy. Then on 1st of August, why did Manish Sisodia revert back to the old excise policy? If this was the world's best excise policy, he should have defended it. He in fact signed on the papers and went back to the old policy. Ravi Srivastava.
Abhishek, I think all these charges are trumped up, fabricated, concocted and exaggerated. Because Manish has said in his PC today clearly that these charges are not made by any investigative authority. Neither by the CBI, nor by the ED, nor by the income tax. Who made it? These charges are made by the BJP people. Are they the CBI constable? Who are they? Who are they to make the charges? First of all these charges will
Ravi
be
Srivastava, you are ducking the question as usual.
No, I am not ducking.
Ravi Srivastava, you are ducking the question as usual. My question was, if the new policy was the best policy in the world, why did you go back to the old one?
Now I'll tell you, Abhishek, allow me. This is one of the best policy in the country, I can tell you. I lived in Delhi for 30 years. How people fall over each other for taking the liquor from the shops.
You are so condescending to Manish Sisodia. He said it's the best policy in the world. You are saying it's best policy in the country.
Yes, it is. It is the best policy I am seeing into Bangalore, where the BJP government is there. Swanky shops, women going freely inside, tasting the liquor, buying the liquor, their own government, own BJP government. So that's what Arvind Kejriwal wanted to make in Delhi. Because the thekas, they are the centers of the corruption. They are the barricaded rooms. And all these Congress and BJP people, they were making money out of that. They were making money out of that.
Okay, you have made your opening comments. Let me get in the BJP on that. For their opening comments, Harish Khurana, Ravi Srivastava says that these are all concocted, cooked up charges by the BJP and that there is no CBI, ED yet charging Manish Sisodia. You are cooking up these charges and perhaps CBI is working on your charges. The FIR is based on what BJP is saying. That's what Ravi Srivastava.
Good evening. First of all, good evening to you and your viewers. You have asked one question to Ravi Srivastava. He has not replied it. He said he's done the question, yes. If the policy is so much popular and so much good, why he has taken back? He's not given the answer. If it's so good,
I'm giving.
then
You want to listen to the answer? I'll tell you.
Ravi, I've not spoken to in between here.
Hold on.
Let
Ravi,
me have some
let him answer. Let him
Have
answer.
some cutscene.
Go ahead.
Have some cutscene, huh? Have some cutscene here.
Ravi Srivastava, this is
I
called
want to answer
filibuster.
your question.
Let
What we
Harish
say-
Khurana answer.
What we say is the most corrupt policy ever we have seen ever. The reason I'll tell you. From the day one, manufacturing companies were not allowed. It was given a tender. Cartel was not allowed. It was given. Blacklisted companies was not allowed. They were given tender. And on 25th of October 2021, when somebody, and including me, has complained in excise department, this excise department has issued a notice to these all people which we have complained. This is a notice copy which I am showing to your viewers. In spite of doing any action on these companies and cancelling the tenders on this show cause notice, what they have done, they have given 144 crore rupees to their liquor friends on without taking the approval from cabinet, which you have also accessed the papers with you guys.
You have the evidence. You have any evidence?
Ravi, I am not
You have any
spoken. Yeah,
evidence?
this is no way.
You
Ravi,
don't
this
take
is no
a
way.
baseless charge. That's what I'm
Abhishek,
saying. Don't take a
Abhishek, this is
baseless
no way.
charge. If you
Abhishek, I am
have
not spoken
evidence,
to
you show
anybody
it.
here.
If you
Abhishek,
have
I'm
an
not
evidence,
Ravi
you show it.
Srivastava,
That's what I'm saying.
Abhishek, this is
Ravi
not done.
Srivastava,
This is not done.
Ravi Srivastava, I'll come to evidence. Hold on, Ravi Srivastava, I'll come to evidence.
You
I
come
think
to
it would
me.
not be easy for
Yeah,
you to defend
please.
then when I come to evidence. But let
I will tell you, I will tell
Harish
you.
Khurana complete his opening comments. I'll open the debate then.
In spite of taking actions
Harish, go ahead.
on these liquor companies, which I have mentioned it, this is a show cause notice to your viewers. 144 crore rupees given, 30 crore EMD has returned back, rupees 50 per case has given to imported liquor. Why you have given that? And also after all this business,
No, Abhishek, you allow me to respond, please.
after all this saga, on first
I would,
when
Ravi, I would come to you.
When CBI came to their doorsteps,
Yes.
what they do? They have returned back the policy saying saying 48 hours before, if LG has not interrupted, this is the best policy. From 17th of November
Right.
2021 till 1st August 2022, not even a single press conference was being done by Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia and others alleging Lieutenant Governor of doing any
Right.
mischief, what they are alleging right now.
Harish.
So this is the total. This is a total.
Harish, you have made your
confusion they want
point.
to create it.
Harish, you have made your point. Ravi, I will come to you. I'll come to you with evidence. But let me get Syed Asad Abbas also involved. Syed Asad Abbas, you know, this FIR of the CBI, which has been filed just a couple of days back, is based on information gathered by the Chief Secretary and a report submitted to the LG, a copy of which goes to the Delhi Chief Minister also. Also, there is a vigilance report which chronicles, you know, date by date, event by event, the objections that were raised by bureaucrats over a period of 8 to 10 months, which were overruled by Manish Sisodia. And that becomes the basis of this FIR. So how is Ravi Srivastava saying or claiming that these are all concocted, cooked up charges?
Sure. Abhishek Kapoor Saab, it's always a pleasure to be on your show, sir, and especially greatly regard your moderation as an anchor. Now, coming straight to the point, sir, let me address things
Come
one
to the
by
point.
one. 143 crore waiver that we speak about, 30 crore refund that we speak about, the wine and whiskey charges being not directly proportional to the exchequer of the state of Delhi. Let me address all of that. Also, my good friend Ravi Srivastava ji, who said that these are not the allegations of the CBI or otherwise. The fact of the matter, Abhishek Sahab, is a very simple thing that I'd like to bring out to all the respective panelists and all our respective viewers of Republic TV, is that why is it that we see CBI EDIT becoming a caged parrot of the BJP? Why is it nothing happens over the last years to any of the BJP leaders like Himanta Biswa Sarma, Mukul Roy, Yediyurappa from my state of Karnataka or otherwise, but it is always to the opposition? This clearly shows, Abhishek Saab, there is a vendetta. The growing popularity today of the Aam Aadmi Party, the principal opposition for the 2024, is going to be a
Yes, we
Kejriwal
are
versus
hearing
Modi.
this.
This has shaken the lights of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Of
30
course, we
seconds
are
I
hearing
conclude,
this.
sir.
Sujata
30
Pandey, you know,
seconds,
you are
Abhishek
so
Saab.
disturbed
30
by the
seconds I conclude,
popularity
sir.
of Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party that you have unleashed CBI, ED, IT, like on other opponents, on the Kejriwal government also. Sujata Pandey, you are jittery, you are disturbed by the popularity and the rise of Aam Aadmi Party finally.
It's the only thing, Abhishek, is that it's not me, but probably Aam Aadmi Party jittery and all kind of disappointed by the rising popularity of BJP and Mr. Modi. But like coming to the facts now, you know, just now Syed mentioned about the popularity of AAP. You know, this is why I said the press conferences and the people who support AAP and the spokesperson of AAP on, let's say PAP, but on different channels also, we're directionless, we're factless, and we're baseless. And I'll tell you why it was directionless. Because the entire debate is about the liquor policy, the irregularities that happened, the favoritism that was done, and then there are the financial transactions which were done, and the rules were amended just to favor certain sections of the ministers and people who are involved in the government departments. But then
Sujata,
all we are hearing is
about... You have to rebut the popularity argument. Syed Asad Abbas is saying that because Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal are becoming nationally popular, you are getting back at them through the agencies. That's the argument. I'll come to the facts, but you have to rebut that argument.
Abhishek. So first of all, before claiming or pitting Arvind Kejriwal against Modi as a contender, first of all, Aam Aadmi Party, let's understand that it's not even a national party. It's still a state party. It needs 2 more states to win to at least be recognized. First, recognized as a national party. First of all, once again,
how
also,
condescending.
let them come up with one report. I'm asking, be it even New York Times or to what they're claiming, that shows that the Modi's popularity has come down and Arvind Kejriwal has far overtaken over Modi, face of the BJP and the narrative of the BJP, because till now all we have seen is a copying of every narrative of BJP, right from the Har Ghar Tiranga to the nationalism to the Hindutva, everything. He just tries and makes a second grade cheap copy of it and tries and put it as his product. No. Secondly, about the bravery culture and the only governance model that the Aam Aadmi Party has, the free culture. Well, with the kind of observation that the Supreme Court has made, looks like the only free culture is going to be taken down. And if that happens, what is the model of Kejriwal? Because he doesn't have any ideology. He doesn't have any fixed ideology.
That's another debate. Asad Abbas, I'll come to you. That's freebie culture is another debate, and we have been big on that. Asad Abbas, I'll come to you. Let me involve Tawseef Ahmed Khan on that note. Tawseef Ahmed,
Abhishek,
okay, 30 seconds quickly.
30 seconds. And in the recent concluded, election, the state elections, apart from Punjab, AAP had received less than nota, 0.34% in Uttar Pradesh. So where is this popularity coming from? Does it think that the 24 election are going to be the Delhi election, or is it going to be for the election for the country, for choosing a prime minister candidate?
Where are the numbers with Aam Aadmi Party? I'll let Ravi Srivastava and Syed Asad Abbas respond to that, but before that I have to go to Tawseef. Sujata says, where is the popularity? Aam Aadmi Party is a state party, it's a regional party. And more importantly, Tawseef, since you are in Kolkata, who's more popular? Please tell us. Please tell the nation. Who's more popular, Arvind Kejriwal or Mamta Didi?
Between TMC and AAP.
No, let Tawseef respond.
You see, for 2024 election, there need not be a 1:1 election. There is going to be Modi on one side and the regional leaders on the other side, and they are all very popular in their region. Mamata Banerjee, you all know, one of the strongest opponent of Modi. Similarly, we have now in Bihar the Nitish Kumar and RJD as the opponent. Then you move up in Uttar Pradesh, you have Samajwadi Party and others. You have TRS in the Andhra. You have NCP and Shiv Sena. And then in Punjab and Delhi, you have Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal is quite popular in the Hindi-speaking belt, and also now he has gone to Gujarat. He's also there in Goa. Likewise, other opposition parties. So if you are trying to project only one person against Modi, that is not going to the case. The strategy is there's not going to be a grand national alliance, but several alliances in some certain states and certain regions. And those state alliances and regional alliances will fight against BJP. And ultimately, this will result into a non-BJP government in the center.
Hold on.
Because in a parliamentary democracy of India,
okay, Ravi, perfect point. Ravi, where is the popularity, I asked? And then I get an answer that Mamata is popular in Bengal, Nitish is popular in Bihar, Kejriwal is popular in Delhi and Punjab. Then there is, of course, Akhilesh in Uttar Pradesh. Ravi, would this ragtag coalition, you think, be a challenge to Narendra Modi in 2024?
Stalin in Tamil Nadu and Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan in Kerala, they are all strong leaders. Why? Let me tell you one thing, that AAP is not only popular nationally, now AAP is popular internationally. They have seen the New York Times, the way they have covered it on the front page. The last news they covered about India.
All right, in the general election of the New York Times, Aam Aadmi Party is the most popular party.
Under the Ganga.
In the general elections of the New York Times,
party of the universe,
the Aam Aadmi Party is the most popular party. That is the argument of Ravi Srivastava. PKD Nambiar.
People sitting here, they should be ashamed. Their MPs were defending it yesterday. Today, New York Times has slapped them. New York Times has slapped them on their face. They should have
Harish. Ravi is saying you should be ashamed that you are attacking New York Times. The general elections of New York Times are going to make Aam Aadmi Party win.
Harish, in New York. Abhishek, you want me to speak or I should leave? I mean, it's your choice.
Abhishek,
anybody wants to leave can leave. That's the problem.
Only one question. I would like to ask only one question from my friend from TMC from Calcutta. Today, Arvind Kejriwal's colleagues like Sanjay Singh and other people have already announced 2024 will be Arvind Kejriwal versus Narendra Modi. I would like to ask Tausif, are you going, Mamata Banerjee will going to support Arvind Kejriwal for PMship? Yes or no? Just yes or no. That's it. Because they have already declared it will be between Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi 2024.
They are absolutely.
I'm not saying. It's Aam Aadmi Party saying.
Harish, don't do my job. I'll ask that question to Tausif. Tausif has already answered by saying it's not going to be one versus one election. It's going to be a regional coalition, a grand national coalition which might shape sometime in future. As of now, these are regional parties strong in their domain.
Abhishek, my point is proved then. My point is proved.
So are the several other
there is no
opposition leaders. They are all aligned. They are against BJP because people do not want Narendra Modi as the third because he has already shown how wonderful he has been to the nation.
PKD Nambiar.
Abhishek,
PKD Nambiar.
People want a change.
PKD Nambiar. Harish, you have made your point. PKD Nambiar.
Aspiration of the people.
PKD Nambiar.
Abhishek, PKD Nambiar.
Harish, you have made your point. Hold on. Tausif, I'll come to you. There's not to debate. There's another half an hour to go. I have not been able to get PKD Nambiar on this. PKD Nambiar, Tausif almost admitted that as of today, there is no one alternative to Narendra Modi. There are regional satraps, regional strong leaders, be it Kejriwal in Delhi and Mamata Didi in Bengal or Stalin in Tamil Nadu, as Ravi Srivastava says. The point is, if there is no alternative available as of today, why project a picture of martyrdom with the investigations going on and then project that martyrdom onto 2024 when nothing exists for 2024 as of today?
A couple of months ago, I have written an article, Abhishek, that is called as Who Will Bell the Cat? Today in this panel, it's very clear that there is no one to bell the cat because the cat is out and becoming more and more stronger. So the idea is that there are more than 10 people. They all are PM aspirants. And I think there is nothing called as everybody can be an aspirant. You, me, and anybody can be an aspirant to be a prime minister or a president of India, or for that matter, to a chief minister. So as of today, there is nobody who can take on national level to the prime minister of Narendra Modi. Now, coming back to the Delhi, whether our discussion has been on the basis of the Delhi. What is happening in Delhi? The Delhi government has been completely on a fake narrative. It has been running from the last 7-8 years. Now, look at from the point of view of, you say that the world class. It's not now. There is nothing called as India's best. It's all about world class schools. I cross at least 5-10 schools when I go to my office every day from Delhi. They talk about the Mohalla clinics, the world class health. In the world class health facility of Delhi, no MLA of Aam Aadmi Party, no ministers don't even use them. They all go to the private hospitals. They all use the private hospitals, including the Manish Sisodia and the Satyendra Jain. And even Kejriwal goes to Bangalore for the treatment. On the other side, they talk about the best world-class education. Tell me one name, one MLA's child or a minister, Aam Aadmi Party minister's son. Forget about that. Even one bureaucrat who is in the education department of Delhi government, his children are going to any of the Delhi government school. I am telling you, even if you can prove me one name, if it is a world-class school, why should they send their kids to Sanskriti or a modern school of Bharakamba or a Vasant Vihar or into the Vasant Valley? The problem is that it is all on a fake. It's all about a fake narrative, and this fake narrative, one day it is supposed to fail, and the time has come for just imagine one particular fact.
You made a point, but you see, whether you study in Sanskriti or Vasant Valley is more like more an aspirational thing. If you can get admission in those schools, why not? See, the question is, let me.
Can I complete my statement? Go ahead. Then you can go to the others. What all I am saying is that you cannot run a government on a fake narrative. I was just today, just to tell to my friend Ravi Srivastava, you seems to be much more older and senior to me. Sir, while I was coming in the Saket metro station, just across the Saket metro station, there were 300 plus people were on the queue for buying the liquor. What have you made the Delhi as a state? It's not just a state, sir. It's an international capital of India. You have made Delhi a policy. You wanted to make it as a liquor capital. Anything and everything in Delhi is the corruption has become. Aam Aadmi Party has become Arvind's advertising and publicity company. It only believes in corruption and fake narratives. And the people from Delhi, people of Delhi has now understood. You don't have to go to Bangalore to see it. Come and stay here for 1 week in Delhi. Go and speak to the auto rickshaw walas who once upon a time supported this government, and today they are in a situation. The Aam Aadmi Party government cannot now sympathy gain. Sympathy gain is over. Now come to the reality. The reality is that it's a failed government. Failed leaders who only believe in white lies.
Okay, Mr. Nambiar, you have made your point. Now, Ravi Srivastava, what Mr. Nambiar is saying is that if the policy was so good, if things were so well managed, I'm asking you, Ravi, I'm asking you, if the policy was so good, if everything was so well managed, why those queues outside those liquor vents? And it made a mockery. I mean, it cut a sorry picture of the national capital, Ravi Srivastava. Also,
that is what I was telling.
You have to at some stage take these questions. I wish somebody from the Aam Aadmi Party was there. Ravi, I am asking this to you. Did the officers not raise objections to the changes that were being brought in? What was the feedback? I mean, Aam Aadmi Party considers itself a mass-based party, grassroots party, which depends and thrives and grows on feedback. What was the feedback the Aam Aadmi Party leadership was getting in Delhi with all the protests that were taking place for months together after the change of policy?
Abhishek, first of all, the policy was put on hold for a simple reason, because Aam Aadmi Party never wanted that people should take the illicit liquor like Gujarat, where hundreds of people have died and where 10,000 crores worth of revenue is being sacrificed by this BJP dalals there. This is what was the reason that we said that, okay, we'll put the policy on hold. The policy is wonderful. I'm telling you, policy is the best when it will be implemented again, and nobody will be there to stop it. The friend who saw it, he seems to be a street stalker who sees all school and hospitals and the liquor shops every day. When he walks, he should know that this party which has been 3 times giving a thumping majority in Delhi. The lies don't sell. The lies don't sell. Keep it to yourself.
I have.
The lies don't sell, my
Let me
friend.
surprise you. Ravi, let me
The
surprise
lies
you.
don't sell.
Mr. Nambiar, hold on. Mr. Nambiar, hold on. Mr. Nambiar, hold on. Ravi, since you mentioned Gujarat, I have to come in there.
Please.
I come from Gujarat.
Please.
I am a domiciled Gujarati. I am a Gujarati by domicile. Ravi. There is a history of prohibition in Gujarat.
What is the condition of schools there?
It is rooted. Listen, Ravi, listen to me. Ravi, listen to me. Since you mentioned Gujarat, give me exactly 45 seconds to put across my point. Prohibition in Gujarat is rooted in Gandhian ideology, Gandhian philosophy. It is Gandhi's home state. Prohibition in Gujarat, by and large, has mass support. Now, with Aam Aadmi Party spreading its wings in Gujarat, are you going to promise, with the kind of policy you brought in Delhi aimed at increased consumption of alcohol, are you going to do away with prohibition in Gujarat? Can you tell the people today on national TV?
Of course. This is the choice of the people. This is the choice of the people. If the people wanted that prohibition should be removed, it will be removed. If people don't want it, it will not be removed. Very simple. You don't want to sell the liquor, why don't you stop manufacturing?
But Abhishek, before that, Mr. Ravi Srivastava should clarify, is he clearing the stand of Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal too? Before that, he should know.
Ravi, respond to Sujata, then I have to go to Tausif and Syed Asad Abbas. Respond to Sujata.
Are you stating that this is the stand of Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal, that they will not do any ban on the liquor in Gujarat? They are not coming to power in Gujarat in any of the scenario by 2032 also.
Do you understand
they can make an election promise. It's a party which makes promises.
People's choice. If people will want it, it will happen. People don't want it, it will not happen.
What about people's choice?
You don't understand English or what?
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Ravi Srivastava, you are making definitive promises in Gujarat. You are saying electricity would be free. You are saying water would be free. Please say there would be no prohibition in Gujarat.
Anything. One day you take a stand of Congress, one day you take a stand of AAP, another day I see you taking a stand of TMC. I don't know what stand you have. So first clarify your stand and then clarify the stand of the Aam Aadmi Party. That Arvind Kejriwal, if he comes to power in Gujarat in any of his daydreaming, he will remove the ban in liquor. Abhishek, this should go on the record. You should play this on the record.
Your party eats beef in Goa and says it is yummy. And you come to Goa, you say it is mummy.
Is this debate about the beef? Is this a debate about the beef?
This is what is your fighting.
Ravi Srivastava, you are a master of digression, but I am not going to allow this debate to digress from what it was supposed to be. The debate is on Aam Aadmi Party's excise policy and the investigation that is going on now. It would have been best had some representative from the party been there, but still, I'll try to make do in the best possible manner. Syed Asad Abbas, you have not been on the debate for a while. Now, you have to understand a few things. Manish Sisodia said that nobody understands this policy. I have gone through at least 100 pages of whatever material was available to me. Now, for example, when it came to the issue of decreasing the price of liquor aimed at increasing alcohol consumption, listen to me carefully, Syed Asad Abbas, and I'll want other guests also to listen to this carefully. When the price was dropped by the excise department in order to increase alcohol consumption under the overall ambit of the new excise policy brought in by Manish Sisodia and the Kejriwal government. The finance department said we have to look at the revenue implications of this decision. So please, because the excise department is the in charge department, give us a chart where based on the old price and the new price, you show what would be the revenue to the government and what would be the profits or the profit margin of these liquor vendors, these liquor companies. Manish Sisodia overruled that, said no need to do this, please go ahead. Why would someone as sensible as Manish Sisodia do that, Syed Asad Abbas?
Rightfully, Abhishek Saab, you've asked the right question. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was on the 9 p.m. Debate where we did have AAP official spokesperson representation too, where Mr. Arnab Goswami asked the same question. As a matter of fact, the question which was also addressed to me was, when you increase the sales of the percentage in wine and whiskey, why isn't it directly proportional to the funds coming into the state? Also, as a matter of fact, the larger leap I take here is Mr. Manish Sisodia is certainly going to be answerable for all these. Now, CBI might be a caged parrot, but if there are allegations, that needs to be proved wrong. Also, as a matter of fact, I truly believe as an Indian, innocent until proven guilty. What we see are allegation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But is this the High Court order stating Manish Sisodia as a criminal? No. Is there a Supreme Court order? No. If Manish Sisodia ji is found to be guilty, he will bear the consequences. But the larger point I make here is, Abhishek Saab, the point that we see that New York Times, BJP people saying that this is the paid news. I challenge the BJP Harish Khurana Sahab. You are the richest party in India on paper cleanly. There is no concept of advertorial policy on the New York Times. I challenge you to pay even $1 billion to get an article of yours. Even a Joe Biden, the president of the United States, is not able to do. They say Khaleej Times carried the same thing.
Can I comment? Can I rebut on this?
Why this rag New York Times so big on your mind? Why are you looking at international approval as some kind of gold standard, for God's sake, and that to New York Times, which has oftentimes proved itself to be taking lopsided ideological positions against developing world, may I say?
Absolutely, Abhishek Saab, I'm glad that you brought about this point. I myself, when I see when New York Times has written about India as the land of snake charmers, so on and so forth, I've raised my point too. I completely agree with you, sir. My point here is, I don't think New York Times is the gold standard of journalism, but my point that I derive here is, when BJP says it is paid news, which is not so, because New York Times has no advertorial policy. How do you call it paid news? Do you have any evidence? Any proof? Also, as a matter of fact, last point, 30 seconds. Harish Saab, 30 seconds.
Okay, it's not paid news. And it's not paid news. No. Harish Kumar did not respond to that. Syed Asad Abbas, it's not paid news.
30 seconds, Abhishek Saab.
It's not paid news. I agree.
Abhishek, just one line. Just one line. Just one line.
Okay, go ahead. Conclude.
30 seconds. Last point and I'm done. Harish Saab, and
No. Let Syed Asad Abbas respond. Finish his point.
The last point I make here is, many a times we see AAP being blamed, Abhishek Saab, as freebie culture, rebdi culture, so on and so forth. Let me tell Harish Bhai Saab that here in the government of Karnataka ruled by BJP, so we have government schools here, we have government hospitals here, same like Aam Aadmi Party, free of cost, but nobody goes here. You know why, sir? Because the standard of the same free government schools, same free government hospitals is much better in Aam Aadmi Party. That is the only reason why
can I comment?
It, sir. And when you speak about freebie culture, sir,
can I come in, Abhishek?
Tyagarajan ji, the finance minister of Tamil Nadu, has answered you very well. Modi ji is not a double PhD. Modi ji is not a Nobel Prize laureate. You
Abhishek,
don't teach us, sir. The states are doing much better than what the center can do.
Abhishek,
yes, I have to go to but before that, quick rebuttal by Harish Khurana. Quick rebuttal by Harish Khurana.
That's it. Just, he's talking about New York Times. I'm not going into New York Times certificate. Any article which is published in New York Times will give you a right to do a corruption. My only point is this. If you are saying it's a good thing, you have published an article in New York Times, okay, go ahead. But that doesn't mean you have a right to do a corruption, my dear friend. My point is this.
Sir, you're not a
Don't
divert
the issue. Don't divert the issue. I'm not interfering in you. I'm not interfering in you. I'm not interfering in you. Have some courtesy. Have some
and a
courtesy.
conviction order of the High Court or the judges involved. So it's unfair for you
Abhishek, this is
to
what
become
is
a
this,
judge
yaar?
and call this
Abhishek.
corruption.
Abhishek, I need your
the High
intervene.
Court will decide on the same. The Supreme Court will decide.
Abhishek, I need your
You're not
intervention.
a
Yeah.
judge.
This is not a way.
Asad Abbas, let Harish Khurana complete his point. You have made your point.
So, sir, it is unfair for you to call
This
it
is not a way.
corruption, sir.
This is not a way.
Syed Asad Abbas,
This is not a
just
way.
hold on to your thoughts. You have made your point. Let Harish.
My
let
only
Harish
one-
complete.
only
I have to
point
involve
is- my
Tawseef
only
also. Let
point
Harish
is-
complete.
My only point is spending an article, whatever you have done, spending money, not spending money. I'm not going to into that.
No. Sir,
Point is this: why are you hiding behind an article of when we're talking about corruption? When we are discussing about the corruption,
Okay, you have made your point, Harish. Harish, let me go to Tawseef on that note. Tawseef, granted, New York Times, great article, great piece of journalism, right? Give that article Pulitzer. Granted that it's not paid, it's not advertorial. Granted that it is actually chronicling fantastic school management in Delhi. But please remember, Tawseef, that Manish Sisodia holds two departments under him, maybe more: education and excise. We are not talking about education here. We are focusing on excise. That's under the radar. That's under the scanner. It's the excise department work of Manish Sisodia which has seen protests on the streets for months together. We have seen people coming out. Some of them might have been orchestrated by Harish Khurana. Let's say. But much of it was also because people were out there on the street, despite the fact that there were those COVID times. Tawseef, in that case, what's wrong if an investigation is going on, a probe is going on? Remember, in the case of Bengal, be it Partho, be it Anubrato, these are court-monitored probes. And then you have problem with them. If there is a probe which is originating out of a report by the chief secretary, you have problem with them, then how do we go after corruption?
No, there is no problem at all with the probe, with the ongoing probe, whether in Bengal or in respect of the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. He himself is cooperating with the probe. The problem comes when these probes are nothing more than a political propaganda. It only serves one purpose, which is to provide some kind of optics for the media houses to deviate people from the real issues. If these probes are genuine, then just like Mamata Banerjee demanded, that let it be time bound. Let there be a outcome of this. Let even this probe against Manish Sisodia be time bound. Why are we discussing when the matter is right now sub judice, when the matter is under investigation? We know on one hand you are admitting that yes, he runs a fantastic education department. He has provided a model education, Delhi education program, which is lauded across the world. And then you are again saying, oh, just because there is some lacuna, there seems to be some lacuna. Why? Because it is somehow connected to the excise department, which comes under the BJP government. All the more reason for one to think that there may be a concocted conspiracy. Yet you want to focus on that. Why? Because on the prime time debate, we should not talk about what the RBI governor has said about the inflation, about the rising inflation, and the steps that the government needs to do, and the steps that government,
I know what RBI governor has said, Tawseef. He has said that the inflation is coming under control, and we are on track to meet our target of bringing it below 4%. It might take some time. I track RBI very closely, Tawseef. But let me help you and take a difficult question to Sujata before I go to Ravi.
Only with a political motive.
So Tawseef just said that it is all political
I don't have political motive. I am there to help you. I am taking controls on your behalf and asking a difficult question to Sujata. Sujata, listen. Sujata, first listen to the question. Sujata, I am asking you a question. Listen to me. Listen to me. Tawseef would be very happy about it. You see, the opposition charges that the BJP is using agencies. You have answered. But this argument that despite all the efforts of the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party won Punjab. Despite best attempts, Aam Aadmi Party is becoming very visible in Gujarat. We have seen they have made inroads in some pockets like the Surat Municipal Corporation, like the Gandhinagar Municipal Corporation. I have the numbers. Maybe people are not expert here on Gujarat politics to that detail, so I am not giving you the numbers. Aam Aadmi Party is scavenging into Congress vote bank wherever it is growing, be it Uttarakhand, be it Punjab, be it Gujarat, be it Goa. Sujata, let's, for the sake of argument, try to answer this question. Is the BJP really concerned about the rise of the Aam Aadmi Party, because it is not anymore a one-state phenomenon? Like Mamata is ultimately a one-state phenomena. Nitish Kumar is a one-state phenomena. Akhilesh is a one-state phenomena. That cannot be said about the Aam Aadmi Party. Is this something which is concerning the BJP?
Abhishek, since you track political and the election updates very closely, you must know that in Punjab, one of the main reasons of Aam Aadmi Party having that kind of victory was the anger that people had against the previous government and the previous government. It was not exactly the Delhi model, not the Delhi model. That's first. That's number one. Because if that was the case, why did it receive 0.34% in Uttar Pradesh, less than even Nota? Could not even make inroads in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, and then lost everything, every claim that it made for Goa, because it said Goa mein to hamari sarkar aa rahi hai ji aur aaya kuch bhi nahi. So in that case, what are these claims made of and based at? Because I would want to see one report. I mean, I don't mind seeing even New York Times paid report that where it's showing that Aam Aadmi Party is going to be a big danger for BJP in the 2024 election or even 29 election, because the national vote share of even Aam Aadmi Party is lesser than even TMC. So how can it even say that it is going to be a national alternative to BJP? Because the question is not about winning one state or UT like Delhi or even Punjab for that matter. What is the governance model that AAP has, Abhishek? The policies that they are claiming and trying to get all kind of wawahi for the Delhi model, even if it exists in their dreams, why are they not able to implement in the Punjab? What happened to the MSP for which they spoke so much and took the votes of the farmers in Punjab? And why are the Punjab farmers on street? So these are the few facts. This is all made up thing. Because if they're saying just one second, they're saying मोदी जी को मौका नहीं देना है. ये कौन सी जनता है? क्योंकि ये भारत की जनता नहीं है, ये पाकिस्तान की जनता हो सकती है. Because I think they are only referring to the foreign media. They are not referring to the Deshi media for them. And NYT is the certificate of.
But you have made your point. Let me get in Ravi Srivastava and PKD Nambiar now into the debate. Ravi Srivastava, what is the vote share of the Aam Aadmi Party which gives you the confidence to say that 2024 would be Kejriwal versus Narendra Modi?
Now ask him the national vote share. Abhishek, I want him to clarify that. He doesn't even know. I bet he doesn't even know.
Yeah, national vote share. National vote share.
Abhishek.
For a party to be a national party, it has to have 5% votes, 5% of the votes polled in a general election across the country, or 4% of the votes polled in at least 5 states. Does the Aam Aadmi Party have that?
Abhishek, Rome was not built in a day. If you see the statistics,
so in the 10 years,
you are conceding that it's not 2024, it could be 2029 or 2034. Ravi?
In 10 years, this party has got 10 Rajya Sabha MPs. This party has got 157 MLAs.
How many
this
Lok
party
Sabha
has
MPs?
got
How many Lok Sabha MPs?
3 states.
You lost
3
even the
states
Lok
has got
Sabha
a presence.
Punjab. The chief minister
How many
sitting
Lok Sabha
seat in
seats?
the Lok Sabha is being
Zero.
lost.
How many seats?
The only
Zero.
one. The only one.
Ravi Srivastava,
Zero.
even an Aam
Who are the
Aadmi
chief
Party
minister?
spokesperson and Arvind Kejriwal will defend his government.
What is zero?
party.
Ravi Srivastava, give the vote share,
Baba.
Baba. Give the vote share. Ravi Srivastava, share the vote share. Ravi, share the vote share.
Aam Aadmi Party has 0 seats in Lok Sabha.
वो दलाली करते हो खाली अडानी और अंबानी की और डराता क्या बीजेपी को?
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Ravi, I will not allow that. That's bad.
टैक्स
ये लैंग्वेज मेरे सामने यूज मत करना।
चंदा लेके लोगों को बाहर
सामने यूज मत करना।
ये सारे काम
Okay. Let Tausif take that question. Tausif, we have that picture. We have that picture of Mamata Banerjee with a top industry magnate. Let me name him, Gautam Adani. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? Tausif, what's wrong with that?
No, if an industrialist or if any business house follows the due process and gets any tender, there is nothing wrong in it. But what we have seen, and we have our evidence now, the entire world knows what is the evidence. The outgoing Prime Minister of the Sri Lanka said that Prime Minister of India had called him and asked him to give a certain project to Mr. Adani. He said it. This, not following the due process. What do we have? Whether we talk about allotment of airports for 50 years, due process was not followed. If we talk about waivers and the waive off of the loans and various other schemes where subsidies are granted, are they very uniform? Are they very equal in treating with other business houses, or do Adani gets a special treatment? Do business houses from Gujarat gets a special treatment from a Gujarati Prime Minister? That is the perception that the people of India has, and it is the Prime Minister himself who has to speak on this and who has to clear this perception.
That charge made by Tausif. Was Gautam Adani a Gujarati entrepreneur when he met Mamata Banerjee, Tausif?
Can I just give you some more?
One entrepreneur who follows due process of law, then he is an Indian. The moment a due process is not followed,
absolutely,
then obviously
and
people
I can
will
vouch
lift the
for
way,
it as a dominant Gujarati that in Gujarat every entrepreneur follows the law. PKD Nambiar, your intervention.
Can I say that the Adanis and Ambanis were not born after 2014. They have been grown and very big and the biggest enterprises of this country from the last several decades, under which regime we all know. I think discussing that today, because of the Gujarati connection, they are all being supported. It's like it will not even will not last even for 30 seconds, that kind of a claim. The Vizhinjam port, which is in the southern part of the southern tip of India, that's with the Adani, with the support of the Kerala government.
They are allowed to make money. Do you know it?
Yeah.
PKD Nambiar, his wealth was $9 Arab. It has become $123 Arab in 3 years. क्या पेड़ पे उगते हैं पैसे क्या?
Oh, Ravi Srivastava, we are not discussing corporate law here. We are not discussing corporate debate and how profits happen in corporate sector. Ravi Srivastava, we are not discussing stock markets, for God's sake. We are not discussing a stock market.
Don't do it. Then you don't
Syed Asad Abbas, your last point. Syed Asad Abbas, your quick last point, because I have to wrap the debate now. Syed Asad Abbas, your quick last point.
I'm sorry.
The fact of the matter, they were speaking of what about our chances. The fact of the matter, they need to understand the arrogance of BJP will fall, just like Sheila Dikshit. Aam Aadmi Party was 0% vote share, but they came back and Sheila Dikshit fell on her face. 2015 they won, 2020 they won, and nowhere BJP in Delhi. So same way, ये जो घमंड है ना मरकट का राजे का गिरेगा, अरविंद केजरीवाल प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनेगा. And I challenge you, Harish Khurana ji, no matter what numbers,
I have run out of time. Syed Asad Abbas, thank you so much. I have run out of time. To all my guests, Harish Khurana, Sujata Pandey, PKD Nambiar, Ravi Srivastava, Syed Asad Abbas, and Tausif Ahmed Khan, thank you so much for joining this Saturday evening. But it remains a curiosity, friends, that despite this debate, that the same Manish Sisodia, who in 2015 refused to prune the list of dry days in Delhi, got the list reduced from 21 to just 3 days in 2021. This transformation is of philosophy or ideals is what interests us. Whether 8 years in power changed his worldview on alcohol consumption, or whether between 2015 and 2022, the imperatives of power got to him. It would have been great to have an Aam Aadmi Party representative on the debate to throw some light on the infirmities that come out in the vigilance report. But hope Sisodia decides to give a definitive interview to you viewers through us sometime. Thanks for watching this Saturday.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Kashmiri Pandits are staging protest here against the killing of Kashmiri Pandit.
OPS finally getting a win in this matter.
National Investigation Agency teams are leaving the house of Lashkar terrorist Faisal Munir.
And here are some stories in brief, viewers, for you, where the Delhi Congress workers under the leadership of the DPCC president will have carried out the Aam Aadmi Party office in New Delhi and have demanded the resignation of the Excise Minister Manish Sisodia following the CBI raid at his house related to the liquor policy scandal.
कश्मीर घाटी में आम नागरिकों को निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा और
Celebrations happening right in front of the OPS's house.
Now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway.
They are staging protest against Pakistan over the civilian killings in the Kashmir Valley.
In a recent development, senior advocate Kapil Sibal attacked the BJP-led central government for misusing the central probing agency.
ये आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार, ये रेवड़ी की सरकार भी है, बेवड़ी सरकार भी है।
बेवड़ों की पूरी फौज खड़ी करते हो और दिल्ली की सरकार को बदनाम करते हो। सारे भाजपा शासित राज्यों में दारू पिला पिला के 22%, 20%, 19% रेवेन्यू इकट्ठा कर रहे हो और बता रहे हो कि ये बेवड़ी है।
कश्मीर घाटी में आम नागरिकों को निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा और
Celebrations happening right in front of the OPS's house.
Now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway.
They are staging protest against Pakistan over the civilian killings in the Kashmir Valley.
In a recent development, senior advocate Kapil Sibal attacked the BJP-led central government for misusing the central probing agencies, mocking the Central Bureau of Investigation Agency and terming it as a parrot of the senior advocate, in fact accused the central agencies for parroting the instructions of the BJP leadership. Trinamool Congress Birbhum District President Anubrata Mondal, who was arrested in a 2020 cattle smuggling case last week, was taken for a medical checkup. He will be later produced in the court today. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma distributed disbursement of the rehabilitation grant through direct beneficiary transfer to victims of the flood. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that those whose houses were damaged completely, partially, will be getting grant from the government. He added that a detailed survey will be carried out and based on the inputs received, ministers and officials will visit the districts and aid to the flood victims. The Ram Mandir Construction Committee's two-day meeting will start from today. Nipendra Mishra, chairman of the
कोई कहानी, कोई 45 करोड़ वही 30 लाख 30 करोड़, वही गोलमोल।
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में ये सारा विवाद खड़ा किया जा रहा है। मैं उसके बारे में कहना चाहता हूं कि वो इस देश की सबसे बेस्ट एक्साइज पॉलिसी है।
मुद्दा अगर शराब नीति होती तो सबसे बड़ा छापा तो पड़ना चाहिए था गुजरात में, जहां जहरीली शराब से 100 से ज्यादा लोग मर गए, जहां पे 10,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा जिस गुजरात में नकली शराब का धंधा होता है, छापे तो वहां पड़ने चाहिए थे ईडी और सीबीआई के।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma distributed disbursement of the rehabilitation grant through direct beneficiary transfer to victims of the flood. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that those whose houses were damaged completely, partially will be getting grant from the government. He added that a detailed survey will be carried out and based on the inputs received, ministers and officials will visit the districts and aid to the flood victims. The Ram Mandir Construction Committee's two-day meeting will start from today. Nipendra Mishra, chairman of the Temple Construction Committee, reached Ayodhya Dhyan. The meet will be held in the campus with the officials of the working organizations Larsen & Turbo and TCS in the Janbhoomi campus.
A cloudburst occurred in Raipur block in Dehradun district of Uttarakhand in the early hours today. The cloudburst was reported by locals at 2:45 am in Sarket village. The State Disaster Response Force team rushed to the spot immediately and began the rescue operations. According to the SDRF, all the people stuck in the village were rescued while some took shelter in a resort nearby. Meanwhile, founder of a temple, Acharya Bipin Joshi, said that due to the
कश्मीर घाटी में आम नागरिकों को निशाना बनाया जा रहा है, बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। और
celebrations happening right in front of the OPS's house.
Now showing you the pictures of this flag march which is right now underway.
Trump is staging protest against Pakistan over the civilian killings in the Kashmir Valley.
Top headlines at this hour. Republic accesses the biggest liquor scam clincher. The vigilance report that flags the discrepancy in Delhi government's policy. Director of Vigilance report levels serious allegations against Sisodia. Was Delhi LG not consulted on the excise policy? Proposal for dry days to be reduced, rejected by Sisodia in 2015, approved in 2021 without consultation with ministers. Why the flip-flop? Republic accesses a 2021 show cause notice that warns on syndicate formation due to the excise policy. Were licenses granted anyway?
आपने तय कर दिया ये जंग छेड़कर कि 2024 की लड़ाई मोदी बनाम केजरीवाल होगी, क्योंकि लोग पूछते थे मोदी बनाम who?
No answers to liquor scam allegations. Aam Aadmi Party makes it about 2024, says it will be Modi versus Kejriwal. Liquor scam accused quiz for 12 hours by CBI today. More summons likely to follow. We continue getting you top updates on Republic TV. I am Shivangi Shakla. The political face-off over Delhi excise policy is refusing to die down as new evidence comes to the fore and new charges are levelled. Aam Aadmi Party refuses to come clear on the liquor excise policy and continues to digress. Will Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party respond to the allegations? Here's more on that.
Kejriwal's deputy and accused number one in the liquor scam held a press conference today after the 14-hour raid on Friday.
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में ये सारा विवाद खड़ा किया जा रहा है। मैं उसके बारे में कहना चाहता हूं कि वो इस देश की सबसे बेस्ट एक्साइज पॉलिसी है और उस पॉलिसी को हम पूरी ट्रांसपेरेंसी और पूरी ईमानदारी से लागू कर रहे थे और बहुत ईमानदारी से वो पॉलिसी तैयार की गई।
But in a rare occurrence, the Congress and the BJP stood united in questioning the party.
This issue of corruption in the AAP government is something we've been raising for a very long time. Unfortunately, because they are a popular government, we were not getting resonance either from people or from media. But that never stopped us from raising every time we found that there was very, very clear indications of massive corruption in almost a large number of cases.
Union Minister Anurag Thakur laid out this open challenge.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को खुली चुनौती देता हूं, अगर दम है तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी मीडिया के सामने आए, देश के सामने आए, 24 घंटों के अंदर जवाब दें।
The face-off is escalating.
ये आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार, ये रेवड़ी की सरकार भी है, बेवड़ी सरकार भी है।
बेवड़ों की पूरी फौज खड़ी करते हो और दिल्ली की सरकार को बदनाम करते हो। सारे भाजपा शासित राज्यों में दारू पिला पिला के 22%, 20%, 19% रेवेन्यू इकट्ठा कर रहे हो और बता रहे हो कि ये बेवड़ी है।
But all the AAP did in response was deflect identically in briefing after briefing.
मुद्दा है अरविंद केजरीवाल की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता। मुद्दा है दिल्ली जीते, पंजाब जीते, अब गुजरात कैसे पहुंच गए?
कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी के दुश्मन नंबर 1, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के टारगेट नंबर 1 अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं। और मुझे लगता है आने वाले समय में पूरे देश में जो लड़ाई है ये नरेंद्र मोदी बनाम अरविंद केजरीवाल होगी।
मैं आज आपके सामने कहना चाहता हूं कि 2024 का चुनाव आम आदमी पार्टी वर्सेस भारतीय जनता पार्टी होने जा रहा है। अब तक लोग पूछते थे कि मोदी वर्सेस हु। अब पूरे देश में माहौल बन रहा है कि मोदी जी नहीं चाहिए, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को एक मौका देना है, एक मौका अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को देना है। अब ये बात पूरे देश से गूंजने लगी है।
Meanwhile, it appears Arvind Kejriwal has abandoned Sisodia and gone silent on the liquor scam, even as he speaks about visits to Gujarat, articles in New York Times, and Rajiv Gandhi's birthday. In fact, the entire opposition seems to be divided on the liquor scam, with Mehbooba Mufti hitting out at Vadra Congress. And now, Republic has access to vigilance report that spills the beans of the depth of the liquor scam. How the Lieutenant Governor was superseded, how dry days were arbitrarily reduced, and how liquor licenses made windfall gains. With the 37-page vigilance report out, the pressure on Kejriwal to break his silence is growing. Sources suggest 5 of the accused have already been summoned by the CBI today. The burning question is, can Arvind Kejriwal duck the mega allegations? Will Kejriwal explain why the liquor policy was revoked if it was truly the best? And will he respond to the BJP's 24-hour challenge? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
ये मेरे लिए भी गर्व की बात है, लेकिन मैं बहुत विनम्रता के साथ कहना चाहता हूं कि ये खबर मेरी उपलब्धि नहीं है। ये खबर मेरी वजह से नहीं छपी कि मैंने कुछ ऐसा कर दिया जिसकी तारीफ हो रही है। ये एक्चुअली दिल्ली के टीचर्स की तारीफ है। तो आज जब न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स के फ्रंट पेज पे दिल्ली के टीचर्स का काम छप रहा है और सारी दुनिया उनकी तारीफ कर रही है, तो मैं दिल्ली के टीचर्स को बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूं।
न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में कैसे छप गया केजरीवाल के शिक्षा मॉडल का पूरा मामला? न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में कैसे छप गया मनीष सिसोदिया की शिक्षा क्रांति? कैसे ये फोटो छप गई? अरे न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स को तो छापना ही नहीं चाहिए था।
अमेरिका के सबसे बड़े अखबार न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में फ्रंट पेज पे, पहले पन्ने पे भारत देश के दिल्ली शहर के शिक्षा मॉडल की चर्चा हुई है। पूरी दुनिया के भारतीयों के अंदर इतनी अच्छी फीलिंग है कि आज देश का नाम अमेरिका के अंदर रोशन हो रहा है। और देश में क्या हो रहा है? प्रधानमंत्री जी उसी शिक्षा मंत्री जिसकी शिक्षा का डंका पूरे संसार में बज रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उस शिक्षा मंत्री के घर सीबीआई भेज दी है। वही कहानी, वही 45 करोड़, वही 30 लाख, 30 करोड़, वही गोलमोल।
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में ये सारा विवाद खड़ा किया जा रहा है। मैं उसके बारे में कहना चाहता हूं कि वो इस देश की सबसे बेस्ट एक्साइज पॉलिसी है।
मुद्दा अगर शराब नीति होती तो सबसे बड़ा छापा तो पड़ना चाहिए था गुजरात में, जहां जहरीली शराब से 100 से ज्यादा लोग मर गए, जहां पे 10,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा जिस गुजरात में नकली शराब का धंधा होता है, छापे तो वहां पड़ने चाहिए थे ईडी और सीबीआई के।
And the other big story, viewers, amid tensions prevailing in Karnataka's Shivamoga district over the installation of posters of Veer Savarkar as part of Independence Day celebrations. Similar incidents have now been reported from the neighboring Dharwad district. Here is more on that.
As the tensions mount in the state of Karnataka, several districts stage protests to support and stand against the row former Karnataka CM sparked over Savarkar. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai ordered a thorough probe into death threat calls to the leader of the opposition in the State Assembly. The Chief Minister's office informed that the state police will probe the matter and the leader of opposition will be provided with adequate security. Amid the row over his remarks on Veer Savarkar, Congress leader and former Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah claimed that he received death threat calls. The Congress workers demanded the arrest of persons who threw eggs at the vehicle of Siddaramaiah during his visit. The Congress workers alleged that the BJP workers staged a Ghirao protest against Siddaramaiah's vehicle in Kodagu over his comments on Veer Savarkar during his tour to the district to meet the victims of flood and heavy rainfall. Confronted with backlash by BJP workers over his remark on V.D. Savarkar, Congress leader Siddaramaiah warned that the Bharatiya Janata Party, stating that they will teach them a lesson after his party comes to power in the next assembly elections. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Viewers, we have been tracking all the updates on Republic TV from across the nation. The top story today was the developments coming in from Manish Sisodia's residence, where CBI has conducted raids there. But here are the other top stories from across India, and a massive update in the Delhi excise policy case. The CBI has issued the first set summon to the accused after it conducted a day-long multi-city raid. Sources in the know have informed Republic TV that 5 of the accused are currently being questioned by the agency. A total of 15 people were listed as accused, with Delhi Deputy CM Manish Sisodia was named as accused number 1. Amid the back-to-back terror alerts in Maharashtra, Mumbai's Police Commissioner Vivek Fansalkar in a press conference has assured an extensive investigation into threats, warning of another 2611-like attack in the city. This comes after the police had received a message on WhatsApp that seems to have originated from Pakistan, threatening terror attacks in the city.
उन्होंने उसमें मुंबई को उड़ाने की धमकी दी है। अजमल कसाब और अल जवाहिरी जैसे शख्स, उनको भी उस मैसेजेस में मेंशन किया है। उस मैसेजेस के तहत उन्होंने जो कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन दी है, उसमें कुछ नंबर्स हमें दिख रहे हैं जो कि भारत के हैं।
Antim Panghal of India scripted history by becoming the first ever female wrestler from India to win gold at the Under-20 World Wrestling Championships. Following the glorious victory, Union Home Minister Amit Shah turned to social media to congratulate her on achieving the incredible feat. AIMIM staged a protest in Rajasthan against the Bilkis Bano convicts release, and the boy from the SC community that was beaten for taking water from pot meant for upper caste people. A man was brutally assaulted by a group of people in Kerala's Kollam after he was questioned for attaching the tricolour to his car on August 14th. The victim informed that he was attacked by a group of 5 unidentified men for displaying the national flag on his vehicle. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has suspended the license of the pilot in command of a SpiceJet flight for 6 months after he ignored the co-pilot's input. Sources in the know informed that a Boeing B-737 aircraft travelling from Mumbai to Durgapur on May 1st had encountered severe turbulence during descent, leading to some passengers being injured. More than 50 people, some belonging to the BJP, were detained in the area of Chikmagaluru after they conducted protest against the Congress leader. The Ramaiah outrage has recently escalated against Congress over the poster war in the state between that of V.D. Savarkar and Tipu Sultan. Police was seen in strength ahead of stand-up comedian Munawar Farooqi's show in Hyderabad. The people coming for the show were told not to bring phones and wallets inside the venue. This comes after BJP MLA Raja Singh was under preventive arrest as he threatened to disrupt the show. The breaking development, TMC leader Anubroto Mondal, who was arrested last week for his involvement in the cattle smuggling case, has been sentenced to 4 days of CBI custody till August 24th. 2 people were reported dead in separate incidents of house collapse due to non-stop rain there in the Kangra region of Himachal Pradesh. The police informed that 2 deceased included a 9-year-old boy and a migrant labourer.
Just 2 days after a suspicious boat with ammunition was found off the Maharashtrian coast in Raigad, the police has received a threat of a possible terrorist attack in Mumbai. The agencies were alerted of a possible attack similar to the 2611 by at least 6 people, with the call said to have been received by a number that originated from Pakistan. The message was sent to the WhatsApp number of the Traffic Control of Mumbai Police. Sources say that the text further read that an attempt to trace the number would lead to the number being shown as one from the overseas. The police authorities as well as the intelligence agencies are reported to have initiated an investigation into this threat. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Viewers, Jammu police carried out some raids, and Pooch raids are coming now after a day the arrest of 2 Hawala operators, Abdul Hamid Mir from the bus stand area of Jammu with 10 lakh rupees and Mohammad Yasin from Meena Bazar area of New Delhi with 7 lakh rupees in cash. Here is the full report.
Jammu and Kashmir police is carrying out raids in multiple locations of Hawala operator Abdul Hamid Mir. Raids come a day after arrest of 2 Hawala operators Abdul Hamid Mir from bus stand area of Jammu with 10 lakh cash and Mohammad Yasin from Meena Bazar area of New Delhi with 7 lakh cash.
Jammu police is carrying out raids at multiple locations in Poonch in connection with the Lashkar-e-Toiba al-Badr terror module that was busted by Jammu police with the arrest of Hamid Mir from the bus stand area of Jammu with 10 lakh rupees cash, following which the Delhi police has also arrested a Hawala operator Mohammad Yasin from the Mir Bazar area of Delhi, and now the links have emerged that the money was being sent from South Africa to Surat and Mumbai and then to Delhi and finally to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to finance the terror activities of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Al-Badr in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
A A 48-year-old garment trader allegedly working as a Hawala operator to fund terror outfits Lashkar-e-Taiba and Al-Badr was arrested on Friday. The accused, identified as Muhammad Yasin, was arrested in a joint operation by the police departments of Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir with assistance from central agencies.
इसके एक साथी को जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस ने पुंछ में अरेस्ट किया और ये पता चला कि तकरीबन ये पिछले काफ़ी लंबे अरसे से बिजनेस तो ये कर ही रहा था जो गारमेंट्स का था, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ ये काफ़ी बड़ा इसका एक टेरर फंडिंग का कॉन्डुइट भी था, जिसके चलते इनको साउथ अफ्रीका से पैसा चैनलाइज होके आता था मुंबई और गुजरात के कुछ पोर्ट सिटी के एरिया से.
According to officials, Yasin allegedly handed over 10 lakh rupees to a terror operator Abdul Hamid Mir of J&K for terror-related activities.
Sources say that 3 to 4 locations are being raided by the Jammu police. The teams have started the raids at around 6:30 in the morning, and the raids are underway in the Poonch city as well as in the far-flung areas. With Sarjivan Kumar, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network.
Ahead of Munawar Farooqi's show in Hyderabad today, heavy police development was seen at the Shilpa Kala Vedika in the area after the Telangana BJP chief's call to boycott his show. Here is a full story.
Addressing a public meeting in Jangaon, BJP Telangana State President Bandi Sanjay Kumar gave a boycott call to Munawar Farooqi's show, which is scheduled for today in Hyderabad. Bandi also targeted Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and said that the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti invited a person as a chief guest who insults gods and goddesses. Earlier on Friday, BJP MLA representing Gosha Mahal Assembly constituency Raja Singh was taken into preventive custody by the Hyderabad City Police. This comes due to concerns that he could damage a studio set where a comedian Munawar Farooqi is set to perform. Earlier, the BJP MLA had requested the state government to not grant permission to Farooqi's stand-up comedy show. In June, Hyderabad police registered a case against Singh for allegedly hurting the religious beliefs of particular community through defamatory remarks. Ahead of Munawar Farooqi's show in Hyderabad today, heavy police development at Shilpa Kala Vedika in Madhapur area. This comes after BJP MLA Raja Singh has had threatened that they will not let the show happen in Hyderabad. And as Raja Singh has been put under house arrest since Friday, following the matter, Farooqi faces criticism and his shows were cancelled at many venues. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
A SpiceJet Boeing 737 flight had encountered severe turbulence on 1st of May, with the flight having led to injuries to a few passengers as it landed at Durgapur in West Bengal. The co-pilot during the flight reportedly advised the pilot in connection with the turbulence, but the pilot ignored his input. The pilot in the command was suspended by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation for 6 months as a result of the investigation. The passengers who were injured meanwhile were taken to the hospital and treated for the injuries. It is to be noted that SpiceJet has come under the radar of aviation authorities over the past months over several violations and technical issues in some of its flights. A resultant series of checks by DGCA, however, found no major faults in the 48 flights inspected by the agency. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Much more coming up on the other side. Heavy rains wreak havoc in the state of Uttarakhand and have caused flooding across the state. Getting a ground report after this very short break.
One places are being raided by the CBI officials.
Aam Aadmi Party workers are being detained by the Delhi police officials.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Kashmiri Pandits are staging protest here against the killing of Kashmiri Pandit.
OPS finally getting a win in this matter.
National Investigation Agency teams are leaving the house of Lashkar terrorist Faisal Munir.